So you're having an affair, but it's not just a sexual thing. You actually are deeply and madly in love with another person. Hey, I know how that feels. I myself experienced the same thing. If you are like I was in that situation, you're probably torn emotionally in the sense that at times you feel this absolute amazing ecstasy. Like nobody's ever understood me like this lover does. I mean, other people have tried, but I don't even have to explain myself to him or her. He or she just gets it. It understands me like nobody ever has. And when you are with that person, you feel these amazing sensations that either you've never experienced in your life, or at least you don't remember experiencing in your life, or if you have, it was so long ago, you didn't think you could ever have them again. But the very fact that you're watching this video tells me you're also probably experiencing some degree of guilt. Like, because you're looking at a thing that talks about how do you end an affair with someone that you love. So there's a part of you that wants out of it. Even if you feel this ecstasy while being with the person, you're thinking, but this is not right. Maybe it's because you're married to another person and it's like, I'm violating my marriage vows. How in the world can I do that? I need to straighten up. Maybe it's because of your religion, like thou shalt not commit adultery or sexual immorality is wrong. Maybe it's because of the fact that the person that you're in love with is actually married to somebody else and you're thinking, I'm a homebreaker. I'm actually destroying somebody else's family. And so if you are like I was then, you might be hoping that some other solution comes along somehow. Oh, I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I actually would have fantasies that Alice would get hit by a truck and die. I know. It makes me sound like a terrible person, but I'm being honest with you. Or that some other thing would occur, that Alice would fall in love with some other guy that I didn't even know existed, and she would walk in and say, I'm sorry, I'm divorcing you, I'm leaving you for him. All kinds of different things through my brain that made it no longer my responsibility, no longer my fault, that just somehow some other solution would occur and everything would work out perfectly. Of course, even if those things had happened, it would not have worked out perfectly. But what I'm trying to describe is the emotional turmoil that you're probably in if you're in love with the person you're having an affair with, but you're contemplating ending the affair. Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Beam with Marriage Helper. If you like what we talk about in our videos where we explain things about love and relationships, you see that button right down there that says subscribe, please do. And that way you'll know about the future videos that we do. And we talk about a whole lot of different subjects when it comes to love and relationships and marriage and family. So please subscribe. We'd love to have you. Now, if you're madly in love with someone that you're having an affair with, you know then that it's not really about the sex, that it's about the relationship you have with that person. And the very fact that you're thinking about ending that probably is based on at least three kinds of fears. One kind of fear is the fact that you're afraid of losing the lover. It's like, I've never felt this way before. This is the most amazing sensation I've ever experienced. And if I end this, I'm never going to feel this again. I'll give up this amazing thing that's been given to me as a gift, and I'm never going to find it anyplace else. I'm never going to have it with my spouse. Why would I lose it? Yet part of you saying, I need to because it's the right thing to do, yet you're afraid of, how will I ever replicate that? Can I live with myself if I give that up? On the other hand, just on the other actual side of that, you have a fear of losing your family. Like, I am married, and maybe you have children. And you're thinking, if I continue with this, then at some point I'm going to get caught. At some point, this thing is going to destroy my marriage. I'm going to wind up, and I may wind up with my lover, but I'll always worry or feel guilty or badly about the fact that I didn't live up to my marriage vows, that I didn't do what I said I was going to do by being together until death do us part, that I'm not there to be the dad or to be the mom in the way that I wanted to be. And so there's another kind of fear, and these things are pulling in different directions. And there may even be a fear of losing yourself. Now, if you're experiencing this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't have to describe it too much. It's like, I was this person. I had a certain set of beliefs, a certain set of values, a certain way of doing life, which did not include cheating on my spouse. which did not include being involved with another person. Now, it may be that you're single and it's the person you're involved with is married, and so it did not include my being the home breaker, tearing up somebody else's marriage or family. And so you're afraid that if you continue on the same path you're on now, not only might you lose your marriage if you're married, lose your family, lose your friends, but you'll lose you. That I'll become somebody I wasn't before. That's who I am becoming, but I kind of liked who I was before, and I don't want to lose me. Well, let me explain to you a couple of things. One is 3 possible paths that your life's going to go from this point on. And then, as I explain each of those, to give you some things to think about. Okay, so here's the 3 possible paths. From where you are right now, in the situation that you're having an affair with somebody that you're in love with, it's not just a sex thing, but the fact that you're contemplating ending it. Okay, one possible path is this. Someone else will make the decision, and then whatever that person decides affects what happens for the rest of your life. You say, what do you mean? You see, if you keep going like you're going now, you are going to get caught. You may think, no, I can do this for years and years and nobody will ever know. How many people have thought that? How many people have gotten caught? You understand what I'm saying? And if that happens, somebody else is going to make some decisions for you. Now, if you're married, it may well be your husband or your wife that makes a decision because they now decide what's going to happen to you. I'm going to divorce you. Here's some negative consequences I'm going to bring into your life. I'm going to get this much money out of you. I'm going to destroy your reputation by what I tell other people. Or if your lover is married to somebody else and he or she finds out, they can do the same kinds of things. Of course, they can't divorce you, but they can cause you misery in all kinds of other ways. Like, let me tell everybody what a scumbag you are. Let me make sure that people understand that the person they thought you were, you're not. Let me vilify you in every way I possibly can. It can affect your employment. It will certainly affect your reputation. It will affect who your friends are that stay with you, because some of your friends will leave you. In other words, they're going to make decisions, and when they do, you no longer have control over a lot of things when it comes to your own life and your own future. Is that the path that you want to follow, that you want to wait for somebody else to make your decision for you? Another decision might be that you decide to trade your current life for one with a lover. Like, I'm going to give up whatever I have now to be with him or her. Now, if you're married, that's like, I'm going to divorce my spouse. I may not be living with my own children anymore, and I'm going to be with him or her. Let's talk about that one in just a couple of minutes. Or the other might be, okay, I have decided to end the affair, but I don't know how to do it. All right, I've already talked a little bit about that first one, like somebody else decides for you. Let's look at that second one just for a minute. Let's say you decide to make a commitment to your lover and you're going to leave whatever current relationship you have, or ask him or her to leave whatever current relationship they have so that the two of you can be together. You realize then that those relationships will never be the same. Never again. Now, I did divorce my wife, and I lived 3 years without my children. Now, I did see them every other weekend. At least I was not that dad that just ignored and abandoned his kids. I did come back to see my kids every other weekend. But it did change my relationship with them forever, even though 3 years after our divorce, Alice and I remarried. And now I was living back in the home with my kids, and I got to raise them up through the rest of their lives until they got married. All those kinds of things. You said, then everything's all made good, made perfect. The answer is no. Those relationships change forever because of what you do. Now, my daughters love me. There's no doubt about that. We are close to each other. There's no doubt about that. So I'm not trying to say they still have this anger and bitterness toward me. But I am saying that relationship changed in that we do these workshops for marriages in crisis. And not long ago, one of the people in the workshop turned and asked my daughter, who's married and has children of her own, if it still affects her today, the fact that I divorced her mom and left him for that 3-year period, even though I saw her every other weekend, does it still affect her today? She did not answer because she could not answer. What I mean by that is that she became so emotional, so overwhelmed because of the pain surfacing within her. Even though she's had years and years and years of healing, It's still that pain that that little girl felt when her dad left for another woman. That even though dad said, I love you, what she felt was, but you don't love me as much as you love her because you left me to be with her. So even though you do everything you can to repair that relationship, to make it good and wonderful again, it will change forever if you make a decision to leave with your lover. Now you're thinking, well, what if I'm not the one that's married? What if it's my lover who's married? It's going to affect her kids if she has them. It's going to affect her relationships, his relationships. Relationships change. When you abandon one relationship for another, those will never be what they were before. Even if later you want them to be, they cannot be, they will not be, they change forever. And you change. You see, you have certain beliefs, you have certain values, a certain way that you live, certain standards that are important to you. And when you violate those, either by leaving your own marriage for another person or getting him or her to leave their own marriage for you, you're now living by a different set of beliefs and values. Does that change you? Yes, because your beliefs and values are part of your identity. And when you change the beliefs and values, you become a different person, and so you change. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe that makes me a better person. Well, think about it this way. If the beliefs and values you had before were ones that you believed were valid, that they really made sense to life, that they were the morality that a person should live by, then by changing that, by modifying that to something different, how does that make you a better person? Now you might be saying, oh, you're being judgmental. Hey, I'm not even telling you what your beliefs and values were. I'm asking you to examine it your own self, from your own way of thinking. As a matter of fact, some people right now watching this, you see the comment section down below? If when you changed your beliefs and values, you became a different person and you finally discovered it was not the best choice you'd ever made, make comments down there about that. Or if you were abandoned by a spouse, for example, who changed his or beliefs and values and became somebody else, and you have seen how that person has changed, then write that in the comments down below. Or maybe it was your dad or your mom that did it. Write your comments down below about what changes you saw there. Because typically, as a matter of fact, almost universally, those changes are not for the better. You don't become a better person by abandoning your morality. And then your future is not going to be what you think it is. Now, I'm speaking not just from my own experience. We work with literally thousands and thousands of married couples, and we have seen so many people that we witnessed these things, not just heard about them, we've witnessed these things where people have abandoned their spouses to go be with another lover. And it never works out that it turns out like they thought it was going to turn out. You say, do you mean they don't wind up getting married? Actually, the likelihood that they actually do wind up getting married is pretty low. Usually the thing will fall apart before they even get married. If they do get married, quite a few of them divorce. Just think about it this way. In America, the likelihood of divorce in a first marriage is about 50% already. In a second marriage, it's about 2 out of 3. And a third marriage is about 3 out of 4. Now add to that the fact that you've become a different person as you changed and modified your beliefs and values. Then most of these marriages don't make it. What about the ones that do? Aren't they happy that they did that? Well, the vast, vast majority of the ones that do, and there are not that many of them, that I've talked to, interacted with, have regretted the fact that it started the way it did. Now, they're in this marriage now, so they're trying to make this marriage work, but they regretted that it started the way it did. Your future is not going to be what you think. If you leave your spouse or you get that person to leave his or her spouse to come be with you, thinking it's going to be bliss, it's not. Now, I wish I had a lot more time to explain that, but I need to get to the end of this. What if you then say, okay, Dr. Beam, I want to end my affair. Is there a way to do it? Yes. Unfortunately, I'm about out of time, so I can't tell you all the things involved in it. You can find out more by contacting us at marriagehelper.com or calling the number that you see on the bottom of the screen. But let me give you a couple of things right now. One is, if you're going to end the affair, you have to do it decisively, and you have to do it now. Yeah, right now. Because if you just keep putting off that decision, either it's going to be found out some other way and you lose all control, or you begin to vacillate so much that you never can pull the plug. It has to be a firm decision. This is over. And then you've got to do it right now. You have to let the other person know. You can do it face to face, or you can do it through a letter, but you've got to let them know that's it. It's over. It's done. We'll have no more communication whatsoever. Think about it this way. If you continue to communicate with the person after you tell them it's over, you are being unkind to that person. Now, think about it. You really are. Because if you say it's over, but then you continue to talk to him or her, continue to text back and forth, to email, whatever, then you said one thing, it's over, but then you drag out their pain by not having it be over. And through every contact you have with them, it gives them some hope that maybe it's not over, that maybe you guys can figure this out. Maybe you will wind up together. And if you're ending this thing, that's not fair to him or her. And it's certainly not fair to your spouse. And that's another thing you need to do is if you're really going to end it, almost always, you really need to tell the spouse. Oh, I know it's scary, and you're thinking, I don't know if I want to do that or not. Well, you call us and we can help you think it through. But there are definitive things you need to do. You can find more free resources on our website, marriagehelper.com. You can find more videos here where we talk about these kinds of things, or you can call and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. But if you're going to end it, did you hear those things? Decisively, and now, and then no more contact. We have a lot more to talk to you about. Check more of our videos out.